Violent Detroit gang has been dealt a major blow.
Yeah, they're known as the Hustle Boys.
They often traveled out of state to sell drugs illegally.
Welcome back to another episode of Tru-Street TV, where we cover everything street related. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell, and let's get right into it. Today's story brings us to Detroit, Michigan. As we spoke about before, Detroit is a city with many problems, and the poor neighborhoods are some of the most dangerous in the country. The man we're here to talk about today comes from the trenches of Detroit and was able to beat the odds and make it out a millionaire. That brings us to the man we're here to talk about today, 30-year-old Dion Hayes, or better known by his rap name, Dugg. Dugg is from the city's east side in the Denby neighborhood off of Whittier Avenue. As he says in the song Faux Gang, I'm Whittier, I'm Wayborn, I'm Lake Point, and I'm Roxbury.
Hey, I'm Whittier, I'm Wayburn, I'm Lake Point, I'm Roxbury.
This area is home to the 4-2 Hustle Boys, who are a set of Crips on the east side of Detroit. The Hustle Boys are a well-known group in Detroit and have deep street ties. The group was formed around 2005 and they were known for hitting the road, going out of town to hustle, having women stuff hundreds of pills tied in a condom inside of her, so if they're stopped by police they wouldn't get caught. So if you hear any Detroit rappers say the term stuffing, this is what they're referring to.
I done took his bitch and turned into a stuffer. Take these 1,000 pills, get him to Kentucky.
Stuffer doing fine, all the scripts active.
What caused this wave was a huge influx of cheap fake pressed pills that were as cheap as a few dollars per pill. But because Detroit is so burnt out with endless competition, hustlers will go to other states like Kentucky and Ohio to sell or jug whatever they have at a much higher price.
2,500 beans headed to Kentucky, bag so big I had to send it out with 2 stuffers.
The Hustle Boys would get indicted for this in 2011, as going state to state selling drugs is fed charges.
Dangerous group.
That's what the FBI says a 4-year investigation involving state, county, and Detroit police revealed. The FBI also says that this gang was based out of a Detroit home at 7 Mile and Hoover, that the Hustle Boys formed 6 or 7 years ago. And when they started, they were promoting events at nightclubs, but they eventually started dealing drugs like OxyContin and marijuana.
And that's why we commonly see Detroit groups be indicted by the feds. You can hear Peasy and 4-2 Dugg frequently mention Skeet. Skeet's real name is Jaron Gaskin, and he is one of the founders of the Hustle Boys. Skeet would take a trip out of town with hundreds of pills. They would get pulled over for driving without headlights, and the officer would discover around 1,000 pills between 2 passengers. Now, this may not sound like the craziest crime ever, but Skeet actually received 360 months in federal prison for this, which is 30 years.
Say so what? Yeah, okay. When Skeet was going to trial, I prayed. My nigga ain't snitched, they gave him 35 years. Got a young nigga thinking shit, I just go straight. They gave my nigga Skeet 35 and 211. You gotta be more careful when you driving with the stuffer.
Dugg would grow up constantly getting in trouble, catching his first case at only 12 years old for stealing a car that was already stolen and being watched by police.
Police around that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Why?
Man, the motherfucker was stolen.
But soon as you, he stole it.
I don't know who stole it.
Okay.
Dugg also used to go by the name Dougie, and he is well known in his hood for shooting dice, and he would say there was a point where he was 12 years old with over $12,000 in dice winnings.
I went at 15,000.
Damn.
At 12 though.
Damn.
At 12. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to school, 10,000 on me at 12.
That was your first lick, a $12,000 hit in a day?
Like $13,000.
He would eventually run away from home around age 14 before quickly being caught with a gun and being placed on probation around 2008. This incident didn't scare Dugg away from the street life, as just a year later at age 15, Dugg was charged with carjacking and a firearm possession. As Dugg was facing real prison time, the 4-2 Boys would continue making money in the streets and getting into beefs. The Hustle Boys are clicked up with Peasy's hood, 6 Mile, Cheddar Grove. They have been in a deadly feud with the 7 Mile Bloods of Detroit, and this beef would get very serious in 2014.
The Red Zone, a war zone, where police and neighbors knew Cocaine Sonny ran the 7 Mile Bloods gang. Drugs, guns, murder, and fear.
While Dugg was in prison, a man named Dion Hayes was killed by a high-ranking member of the 7 Mile Bloods named Billy Arnold. Billy Arnold was a real savage, and he was a real problem for the Hustle Boys. Dion went by the nickname Neff and was with the 4-2 twins as they rode to the local parole office. And unfortunately for them, Billy had been up there to see his parole officer at the same time and would call some 7 Mile Bloods up there after spotting them. Billy and his friends that arrived would wait and follow the twins and Neff as they left until opening fire on the car a few blocks away. One of the twins would be shot in the chest but survived, but sadly Neff was shot in his face and he would pass away after a couple weeks in the hospital. Michael would later secretly testify against Billy, naming him as the shooter. Dugg eventually got sentenced to 4 years in prison as a teenager, and he would be released in 2015 after serving around 6 years, with the additional 2 years coming from getting into fights.
16, nigga, I was doing the 4. End up doing the whole 6. I was doing the most.
The Detroit music scene was on fire around this time as well, as T Grizzly had just dropped one of the biggest songs to come out of the city, releasing First Day Out towards the end of 2016. T would throw the Hustle Boys a major alley-oop, doing a song with 4-2 twins right after blowing up, releasing Secrecy in January of 2017.
Ran that money up and then I put my mans on. Niggas think shit sweet cause my twin gone.
Twin Martez Davis would rap about his twin being gone in this song because just a few months prior, his brother Michael was sentenced to 3 years in prison for a gun possession. Dugg had to begin writing music in prison, and he would quickly begin dropping music with 4-2 twins, releasing songs like We Gon' Get It, Shine Regardless, and Had To. 4-2 twin would also have some friction with T around this time, as T linked up with Sada Baby, who is a part of the 7 Mile Bloods.
I got niggas done died. Nigga, brother in prison. Niggas in prison, bro. Niggas done died over this shit, bro. This shit is real street shit, bro. Niggas done died, bro. Nigga, you can't play a nigga like me close and then go running with my ops, nigga. And befriending my ops and think that shit supposed to be cool with me, nigga. It's blood on this shit, bro.
His features with twins were catching a buzz in the city, and Dugg will go on to release some singles, including a song titled Livin', which went crazy around the time and has over 1 million views today. In March, the twin Michael Davis will be called to testify against 4 SMB members at their trial. Michael would refuse to get on the stand, and the feds would charge him with contempt of court and obstruction. They would sentence him to 70 months in prison for this. Billy Arnold would also receive life in prison for the murder of Neff and the murder and multiple shootings of other 4-2 members. In 2018, Dugg would take rap serious and will begin making huge waves in the city, releasing his debut mixtape on July 19th, calling it 11241 Wayburn. Dugg will go on to blow up right after this as he released some huge songs. STFU, released on July 29th, was a huge song and has almost 20 million views on YouTube. Dugg went crazy on this song.
The bad cats, I don't miss walking. Come get your bitch off me. I'm known for shit talking. I'm known for script busting.
Team Eastside Snoop would sadly be killed in Detroit around this time. Dugg and Babyface Ray would collab on a tribute song to Snoop called The Streets. This was another huge song for Dugg and sits at over 15 million views on YouTube.
My soul, my heart, my niggas, my freedom. So do we need you.
2019 would be a very big year for Dugg, as this is the year he really blew up and became a millionaire. He would sign a joint venture deal to Yo Gotti's CMG along with Lil Baby's 4PF label, which now goes by Glass Window Entertainment. Some people seen this as a bad move, as plenty of upcoming rappers sign bad deals, especially when signing to other artists. But this was actually the perfect move for Dugg, as these relationships launched him to superstardom during the pandemic. He would release Young and Turn on March 15, 2019. T Grizzly would appear on this tape, as well as Lil Baby and a few other artists. One of the singles on this project, called Dog Food, went crazy and has almost 30 million views today.
Dog food. Won't catch a nigga pass, bitch, we all shoot.
He released the video in August, and shortly after, on November 8, 2019, Dugg will make a huge mistake as he went to a shooting range in Atlanta and would shoot a Glock. ATF agents would receive a tip that Dugg was at the range, and they would begin investigating this. And just a few months later, Dugg's relationship with Lil Baby would pay off in a huge way, as Lil Baby released his album My Turn. And the 2 songs Dugg featured on would be huge hits, as the song Grace is double platinum and has well over 100 million views.
Bitch really wanna get higher.
To the little hoes, I'm Bryson. I done hit more shit than Mike Tyson.
As well as the song We Paid, which is 4 times platinum and has well over 400 million views on YouTube. This will push Dugg to another level and made him a huge superstar very quickly, going on the road, doing a lot of shows.
Fuck go broke like Jock. Fuck with that dog like Vic. Not that rock, that pitch.
And just a month later, on March 10th, Dugg would be indicted by the feds for possessing a firearm for the gun range incident. When Dugg got to Atlanta, he would be released on bond. He would quickly release his own project, releasing Young and Turned Part 2, which has very good songs like Hard Times. He would move out of Detroit, buying a mansion in Atlanta for almost $2 million. Police would also claim that on June 5th, 2020, they attempted to pull over a rented Chevy Tahoe. The Tahoe would quickly take off from the scene and escape from the police. After running the plates, they would tie the truck back to a promoter close to Dugg, and they would end up charging Dugg with the high speed after catching him a few months later on August 4th. Before this, Dugg will go on to release a deluxe to Young and Turned 2 in the summer, before releasing multiple songs to end the year off, including Free Woo, Free Mary, and Free Me.
God, bro, I wish that I could come and get you. All these people around really ain't my niggas.
A lot of the guys Dugg raps about are in federal prison, as they got long prison sentences from the Hustle Boyz indictment, or are just in prison from their own personal cases. For example, Free Mary is in reference to Dale Mary Morris, Free Reek is in reference to Derico Surkey, and Darnell Hayes is another example. Dugg can be heard saying free all of these guys in multiple songs. All 3 of these men are FO2 members currently in prison serving long sentences, and it all stems back to May 8, 2009, when 3 FO2 members seen a man named Fieldin Reed ride past in a nice car with a pair of buffs on his face. The group would notice this and quickly jump in their own car, planning to rob him. But this lick didn't go as planned. They pulled up next to him, and Nail would begin shooting into Fieldman's vehicle, leaving 23-year-old Fieldin Reed dead from multiple gunshot wounds. They would try Nail, Reek, and Mary together for murder and armed robbery. They would all be found guilty at trial. Reek will be sentenced to 45 years in prison for this. Mary got 37 years, and Nail will receive life in prison for pulling the trigger. Dugg will put all of these songs on a tape released next year on May 21st, 2021, titled Free Dem Boys, with the biggest song on this tape being Maybach featuring Future. Dugg and Roddy Ricch were shooting a video in Atlanta when shots would ring out. OMB Peasy would be arrested following this, but no information would really be released, and OMB was cleared of the charges. Dugg will go on to do a Breakfast Club interview alongside Yo Gotti around this time as well, saying he wasn't even in Detroit when the high-speed chase happened, and the police are trying to say they seen him.
When they know you from a certain life before you was successful in music, they don't never forget that. Like, even though you may start doing this, they still look at you as this.
In August, Dugg will plead guilty to the gun possession and agree to turn himself in on April 12, 2022 to serve 6 months in boot camp. A few days after pleading guilty, he would feature on a song called 5500 Degrees, which was a huge song at the time.
Yeah, I heard your man's up 600 and 100, she dare can stand up.
Dugg will continue dropping music, and when April came around, he didn't show up to boot camp and turned his phone off. Federal agents spent the next few weeks tracking Dugg down until they noticed his phone pinged at the Willow Run Airport, which serves Detroit. Although Dugg's name wasn't listed on the flight's manifest, he would be found and arrested getting off of a private jet. He would then sit in federal custody for the next 17 months, being released in October of 2023. Hitting Icebox his first day out, he would continue dropping music and would even release his first studio album months later in 2024. Black 100 will also go on No Jumper and say FO2 Dugg got punched in the face by Offset after Dugg supposedly won Offset's money and didn't want to continue playing dice.
Nevertheless, Dugg ends up turning around. When he turned around, Offset filed.
In the face.
Right in the face. I give it to 5 count. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000.
You're counting what?
No reaction from Dugg. If y'all gonna get down, y'all gonna get down. Nigga, fire, you get off. When I seen one no reaction, now I get niggas is pulling out, right? I grabbed Dugg and see Dugg, I don't know why he doing this.
Dugg would also deny this and go live, saying that if something happened to him, somebody would have died.
Hey, his pockets ran. A nigga swung, fat old dude hit him in the and ain't nobody died behind this shit, bro.
Right.
My money, ain't nobody, come on, bro. You know we don't even play like that. We ain't never played like that.
They walk in with mango food. Come in there, they shooting dice. Nigga, Dugg get the fucking him up, I'm assuming, because out of nowhere, it's some friction that start. You feel? They get to arguing, nigga. It look like Mango doing some shit that'll make them win.
Yeah.
You feel me? On the if we about to fight, nigga, I'm just gonna end it all saying. And me and Wheat tap each other, and I'm like, cuz, I know I don't fuck with Lil Dog, you feel me? But nigga, Dugg from Detroit. We from Detroit.
Yeah.
These two niggas can't do nothing to this nigga while I'm sitting right here, bro.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, all our problems, all that type of shit went out the door. So, thank God nothing happened. You feel me? Like, niggas was able to talk, and you feel me? The shit just digressed, but...
Dugg also gave Big Meech $100,000 as a welcome home gift, and 50 Cent would throw shots at Dugg for this, as 50 and Big Meech are beefing at the moment.
I wish y'all the best of luck, but we do spank ass, and you know this personally.
Dugg is really from the trenches, and it really is no cap in his rap. I hope he stays out of trouble and can continue to grow as an artist. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Young in time.
You young in time, though, so you might not need it, though. You might need to sell it to me. I'm for real, though. No, listen to the idea.
No, I'll pay you more.
Listen to the idea. You'll sell that to me, and just go, yo, young in time way.
You'll pay 500 for this? No,
yeah.
I'm saying. Well, you got more money.
You sell me that, and then just go, yo, young in time way. You just go and buy you about 2, 3 this AP.
This really my new young in time way.
That's the